Hi, this is actually not a review video, but this is a catch-up video as far as where I had been for nearly 2 weeks of uploads. Now, in this cycle right now, I will have 2 or 3 reviews a day going up for about a week, and then I'm not sure how to go after I catch up, because like if I were to just take this page out of my planner. Actually, I'm not going to take them out. I'm just going to hold it up. So if you see, this is this week and this is the rest of this week. Everything in orange are videos I want to make, and everything is green. In green are reviews and videos that I need to film. That's how far behind I am. I know you probably can't read that, but that's okay. I just want you to know that I'm kind of in a jam as far as being behind schedule, but I thought I would make this video to play catch up and to tell you what's going on in my life. Now, I deal with physical ailments and psychological ailments. We'll talk about the psychological first. I have mood disorder, which is bipolar disorder. I have PTSD, I have anxiety, I have depression. And if I get triggered, then the first thing I want to do is just bury my head in books and not really deal with a lot of my other responsibilities, whether they are in the house, whether they are to my blog or to this channel, and sadly even to my family. Like if I'm really sad or have had a really bad bout of night terrors, which create anxiety and migraines, then I don't really want to deal with anybody. So therefore coming to this channel sometimes is difficult because I could be in that cycle. Then I have the physical part of what's going on with me. I have the fibromyalgia, I have the back problems, and I have this new phenomena of muscle spasms. Terrible muscle spasms that go from my ankle all the way up to my hamstrings. And they could be in all 3 places, on one leg or both legs at the same time. Or they could just be in my ankles, or they could just be in my calves, or they could be in my hamstrings or my upper thighs. I'm not even sure, almost in my groin. And when I have these spasms, it makes walking very difficult. My legs feel very heavy, and it's hard to get around. So that pulls me away from this channel, because my pain, which I live on an average every day, whether I'm having a really bad pain day or just an average pain day, 6 out of 10 is about my level of pain every single day. So if I'm pulling in spasms, back pains, and migraines, then my pain ratchets up to an 8 or a 9. I won't say a 10 because I know that people with other illnesses suffer far worse than me. So this channel has had a lot of bumps along the road. It has started maybe 2 to 3 years ago, and then I went almost a whole year without filming, and then I filmed for a while, and then I went 6 or 8 months without filming again. And that's because of the combination of the mental and the physical anguish that I deal with every day. But the thing is, I love reading so much that no matter how I am mentally or physically, I always have a book on my Kindle device, or I have like print books. I wanted to show you, but I just go like this. You know, I grab print books off of my shelf to read. You know, so I'm always going to read, even with everything that I just told you. So what happens is that list that I showed you in my plan, I'm trying to get rid of this. It's a bright sunny day. That list that I showed you in my planner is the backlog of reviews that I need to write for my channel, and reviews that I need to film. Reviews I need to write for my blog, and reviews that I need to film for this channel. So I'm sorry for moving this camera, but I should have closed the curtains to prevent that glare, but you'll have to forgive me. So I just want to tell you why sometimes I will go dry on this channel, and where there's no uploads for 10 days, 14 days, even maybe a month at a time. So when you see a big gap from book reviews, know that I'm still reading. I just haven't had the mental energy and the physical wherewithal to sit down and make these videos. And plus, I also like to edit in book covers whenever I can, and Amazon links, and sometimes blog links, and that's all time consuming. And the thing is, that part of it is a wee bit overwhelming, but the reading and the blogging, that's not overwhelming at all. I'm an avid reader and a natural writer, so keeping my blog. As a matter of fact, my blog stats are out of this world. If I were to go pull up my blog on my I've got my laptop in front of me. If I were to pull up my blog just this last month, as of right now, it says that I've had 12,123 views in the last 30 days. So the blog is great. I have no problem writing. As a matter of fact, I could probably even make a career. Half of my face is glowing, so we are going to shut this curtain. I don't want to have, okay. Anyway, so the blog is fine, no problem. It's coming in front of the camera and making content and editing it that I get behind on. So that's the first half of this video. The other half of this video, let's talk about my mid-month wrap-up. Okay, let's see if I've updated. Yes, I have updated my spreadsheet. So we're going to go into my stats. For the month of April, I have read 31 books, and I'll face this way. I have read 31 books and 11,401 pages. Now, just to give you an idea, in January, I read 39 books for the entire month at 10,550 pages. So here we are at the halfway point in April, and I've read more pages than I read in January, and nearly as many pages as I read in February, because in February I read 40 books to the tune of 13,000 pages. In March I read 56 books at 22,293 pages. So it looks like I'm going neck to neck with March. So that's my stats so far. And before I tell you a little bit about some of the highlights of the books that I've read, I do want to talk to you about those stats. And if any of you follow me on Facebook or are in any of the reading Facebook groups that I'm also in, you're going to see whenever I post, whether I make my own post or I post or comment on someone else's post, it's always the same question. How do you read so much? That's the first question. It must be children's books. It must be very short books. It must be picture books. It must be graphic novels. I think those are the 5 categories that I must be reading in if I'm going to read the quantity in which I read. Then I get told that I read for quantity, not quality. Then I get told that I need, and this is a specific quote, "You read nothing but fluff. Been there, done that. You need to up your game." Yes, I need to up my reading game. I am not a real reader, according to this person. We won't mention any names. So, how do I read so much? I mean, I have hobbies. I've got my diamond painting, which is right to my left. I've got my jigsaw puzzles. I blog, as I just mentioned, which means I have to not just write book reviews, but I do blog tours, so that incorporates getting book covers, other images, links. If I do excerpts, I don't just do the excerpt that the publisher gives me. I reformat it with paragraph breaks, so therefore I have to do some coding using HTML coding. So I do a lot, but yet I still read this much. And how do I do it? Well, we're going to talk about how I do that in this video. The first thing I do is when I get up in the morning, this happens to be my Kindle Fire. My Paperwhite is in my bedroom. I will grab my Kindle Fire and I will go to whatever book I'm reading, okay? And let's see if the cover is on here. Yeah, so this is the book that I'm reading, His First Wife's Secret. And I will start or continue a book that I started the previous day as soon as I wake up with one of my Kindle devices. Now, Should I be in bed due to pain, because I am a chronic pain patient, I will grab my Paperwhite and I will read a book before I make my first cup of coffee. Yes, I will read a book that morning before I go in the kitchen and make that first cup of coffee. And then after I finish that book, and now I should say this, if I decide to get up and not read in bed, I will put Kindle text to speech on, which is, if you look at this, I'm going to do this way because this is important. You see that little play button right there? I know I'm using the wrong finger, but you see that play button? With Kindle Fires, you can use text to speech. And I will put text to speech on and give favor to my diamond paintings or work on my jigsaw puzzles. So I knock out that first book of the day. And then when I'm done with that one, if I'm doing any group challenges, I will go to Facebook and I will update the challenges as to what book I read and what prompt it fit, whether it was a freebie. So I do that. If I have a blog post, I go cross-post it to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Amazon. And I do that, and I'll go to Facebook groups and check things out. I didn't bring my Kindle in here. I mean my game in here. Sometimes I will sit back in my recliner, which is behind me, and turn on my game, Animal Crossing, or if I want to do Sonic or whatever, and I'll have text-to-speech playing in the background. And that's when I'm working on that second book. So that second book will stay with me all day until I go to bed, and generally I will finish that second book and start a third book. That third book gets finished the following day. Read that book, read the next. So at the end of it all, I went from 39 in January, 40 in February, 56 in March, and now I am at 31 in April. So that's how I read so much. Now, that first thing, I am reading children's books. Actually, no, I'm not. Now, I did read 2 children's books this year. I read Peter Pan and I read Alice in Wonderland. So yes, I read 2 children's books this year. Middle grade books, I think I read 3 middle grade books. No, actually I read Rick Riordan's series. So that's 5. So I'm trying to find my, I can't find it on my spreadsheet, but I think I read maybe 7 middle grade books. Novellas, short books. This year I read 12. Full-size books I read 150. Page-wise, I am averaging, page-wise, January 340 pages a day. I increased that to 465 pages a day for February. And in March, I have averaged 719 pages a day. And we're going to ask Siri how many pages I've read this month. So today is the 14th. So Siri, what is 11,401 divided by 14?
It's about 800.
Okay, so I have read an average of 814 pages a day for April thus far. So that's how I do it, guys. That's how I read so much. Now, I do want to talk about quantity versus quality and whether or not I'm getting anything out of the books I read. Am I thinking about the characters, the scenarios, the conclusion, whether there were twists or whether there were rabbit trails or whether there were shocking surprises? Let me tell you, you saw that list that I showed earlier on my planner. As of yesterday, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 reviews to write as of yesterday. 16. Okay? When I sit down, and I use a wireless keyboard, and my laptop is behind me like on an arm, so it's hanging. It's like above my desk. So I will sit here with this keyboard, and I will pound out 1, 2, 6, 10, 12, 15 reviews. I could go back to yesterday, to last week, to last month, even to January. Like right now, I need to write 6 reviews for Lisa Genova. Remember, Still Alice, Left Neglected, Love Anthony, Inside the O'Briens, and there's one more. Okay, I need to write all of those book reviews. And I read, remember, in I believe January, Still Alice in March, and the other 4 this month. But I'm not going to have any problem sitting there making a concise series review of all of Lisa Genova's works, 5 which were fiction, 1 which was nonfiction. No problem at all to do that. By the way, all of Lisa Genova's books deal with neurological diseases. It could be Alzheimer's, it could be Lou Gehrig's disease, what have you, autism. Each of her books deal with one of those subjects. Quantity versus quality. I'm going to open my spreadsheet to my book survey. Some of the books that I've read that would show that I am eager for quality, and that would be Sacagawea by Anna Lee Waldo. That would be War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. 2 upcoming books I will be reading will be A Promised Land by Barack Obama, or the biography of Alexander, why can't I say his name? The biography of Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. Those books are massive. I don't have the page numbers. I also love historical fiction, and I've read a boatload of historical fiction this year. I love World War II fiction, so that would include a reread of, what reread did I do? Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale. Then I read Suzette D. Harrison's The Girl at the Back of the Bus, probably my favorite book of this year, other than Remember by Lisa Genova. Then I read a couple of historical books about female serial killers, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Palmer, and another, I wanted to tell you about another book, but another book about a female serial killer. But the book that just came to me also was A Woman of No Importance by Sarah Pernell. I can go on and on for the meatier parts of my reading. But, if you have a diet and you eat all protein, you won't be healthy. If you eat all carbohydrates or all fats or all fruit, you won't be healthy. You need a variety, and that's what I give myself. I'm a series fanatic. I've read the Deanna Rayburn series, which were 6 books. Then I read Greg Hurwitz's Orphan X series, which I think was 7 books. I can go on and on and on. Oh, I read most of Jenna Ivanovich's series. I do have one more in there. There were 7 books in that one. I read a lot of trilogies. I read, as I mentioned, a lot of historical fiction. So I'm going to read a variety, and I've got to drink something. I've read a lot of variety, but I do enjoy some of the more contemporary books. I love contemporary romance. I love historical romance. I love Amish romance. I love mystery, thrillers, women's fiction. I could go on. I love mystery thrillers like Heather Graham's Danger in Numbers or J.T. Ellison's Her Dark Lies. I love those type of books. Tell No Lies by Allison Brennan, another excellent book. Just My Luck by Adele Parks. What could happen if you win the lottery? The Last Bookshop in London and The Bookstore on the Beach. Books where the characters are connected to books one way or another. Those are talk bookish to me. Another book where the main character was an author. Another book I read, I can't remember which one it was, but another recent book I read where the character was an author. And then I read some books that won't be out to June, July, August, such as False Witness by Karen Slaughter, Vortex by Catherine Coulter. So I'm just spitting titles out. No, I am not going to throw up 75 titles right now, book covers right now, but that is the quantity versus quality answer that I can give you right now. Now, I did read a couple of books this year that I really didn't like. One was Whirl Away by Robert Winton. It was an adventure, and I really don't like adventure, but it was a request. I read it. I am only giving that book 1 star. Another book that I'm going to give maybe 1 star to, which is Hurricane Summer by Asha Bromfield. I have to contact the publisher because this was a blog tour, and I won't be able to do a blog tour because I personally found the book to be very problematic. Will I do a review on this channel to tell you why? I don't know. I just don't know. Anything else I want to tell you? I told you how many books. I will pop up a screenshot or two of the books that I read. The first week in April was my biggest week of reading because I read 25 books the first week of this month. As of this week, today is Wednesday, and I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've read 5 books yet so far this week. It's not going to be a big reading week like last week because of those cramps and the migraines that I've had to deal with. I've had a night of insomnia because the cramps were so bad I couldn't sleep. So this week is a lot slower than last week. But I'm also going, as I mentioned, I'm going to start the Barack Obama book and the Alexander Hamilton book. I also downloaded Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. So I think I am going to read each of those 3 tomes by reading an hour or 2 a day of each book. So this week will be slower, and the latter part of this month will be slower to allow me to assimilate and to absorb those 3 tomes. I also plan on reading all of my blog tour books for April, which we're in April, so I've got about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 more April books to read, and then I will dive into all of my May books. And I should get all of those done, all of my May books done before the end of April, which is only in 2 more weeks. So that's it. That's my summary. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments below. I will be glad to answer anything that I didn't answer, but I did want to kind of tell you why you don't get videos from me all the time and how I read, why I read. Can I show you something else though, really quickly? I just have to show you this because I don't know if I'm going to fit them in. I'm sorry for my arm fat hanging. I pulled these books off of my shelf. Hercule Poirot's casebook and 5 of his books, full size. A lot of these are shorter, but not short in the sense of the book. So I want to read these this month. I did read this one last month, so I will pull books off of my shelf. Believe me, I will. But I did want to show you those because I just thought about that. I don't know where to set these right now. I thought about that quantity versus quality question as I was about to close out the video. So if you have any questions or book recommendations that you want to give me, whether they're tomes, whether they're series, whether they're a certain genre, give me a shout and I will try to fit them into my reading schedule. If not for April, definitely for May. So that's it for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.